Shepherds of Men is a secular movement started by three men of faith. We wholeheartedly believe that when we get the men right, we get the world right. We believe this because we believe that men are created and called to be leaders, and we believe there is an alarming deficit of leadership in our world today.
And although the three of us have come from drastically different backgrounds, our core principles have given us a unified voice that is needed now more than ever to pave the way for a fundamental change in our culture.
We are quite literally calling men to something great.
Welcome to the movement.
What's up, world? This is Wilson coming at you with the Shepherds of Men, and I am joined with JP.
Yo!
And Cam.
What's up?
And this is a continuance of all the greatness that we're coming up with the MEN Reforged program.
It's the most humble thing you've said tonight.
Yeah.
Or at least you didn't say, hey, I'm glad that you guys got to see me today.
Yeah, you get to see me right now. Hi. Get on YouTube. Subscribe. All right.
There you go.
So that's our plug for the day.
Now that we got that stuff out of the way.
So as you have heard on the last episode, we talked about tenacity. In this episode, we're going to talk about etiquette. Etiquette, which I like to say etiquette for whatever reason.
Edit, don't quit.
Edit, don't quit.
That is a good example of auto-suggestion right there.
Yeah.
That is a good example.
Dude, I use that shit all the time. I'm telling you, you should see my text messages. Like, Siri comes at to me all the time.
No.
If she was real.
Not auto correction. Auto suggestion.
Basically, your subconscious mind is pushed into one direction, right? So we said etiquette multiple times before this.
Because I started it accidentally.
Yeah.
Because I'm a
Because I'm a Wilson.
I like to do that every now and then. I'm lightly educated. But we're going to be talking
passionate.
about very passionate. Very
Got a
passionate.
big heart.
Big heart. Love helping you become a better man. And MEN Reforged is no joke. So talking about this etiquette, damn it.
Gosh.
Etiquette is very important.
We talked about this.
I know.
Y'all said it so many times, now it's in my head.
It's our fault now.
No, it's my fault for listening.
Wow, that's the first time I heard you say that. Keep going. Etiquette.
So, thank you. So what I mean, okay, so the whole idea of this MEN Reforged, guys, is you come into an environment that's going to stretch you and make you become a better man. And you need every piece of all the ethos of an influential man that we're talking about. So each piece is very important. You can't have an influential man without one or the other. It has to be all encompassing.
Encompassing.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't even
Encompass.
say that.
It is hard.
Encompass.
Encompassing. I said it right, did I not? No.
Nope, you did not.
Well, anyway.
So today's news.
So the first thing we're going to talk about is appearance. In my personal opinion, I think your appearance is very important. I think one thing that I really enjoyed by Coach Burke's episode, he actually talked about your first impression. And your first initial hello or whatever impression, if you will, on a person that you are meeting for the very first time will stick with them. And it takes 20 times positive influence to go back to counteract a negative. So this is very, very, very important. So with appearance, man, you got to really be on your A game when you're trying to make an impression. If you're just chilling with your boys or whatever, it doesn't matter. But you got to know when and where. But I would also agree, or I would actually correct what I just said in a sense of you should always be prepared.
Yeah,
because
you never know. That's what I was going to say. I'll challenge you a little bit on that just because I think you need to always be. Now, certainly there's times where you're just like, I'm chilling with the family on a Sunday afternoon, we're snowed in or whatever.
Right.
I get that. But if it doesn't matter, man. If you're out and about, like you can be casual and still be presentable.
Right.
Like, or still have like we say, it's like trim them up. Like if you're watching on YouTube, guys up in here in the ears, like all the like I love facial hair is good, but keep it clean, man. Like make it. I know Josh's
facial hair is the devil.
just you hate things you can't have. I get it. But I mean, there's in like like t-shirts and stuff like that is fine, but like don't have one with a bunch of stains on it. Like don't look like you just got like mom's spaghetti on it. Like we talked about before. But, right?
That's from a song, right?
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Or M&M's on it. Don't get the chocolate stuff. Well, they melt in your mouth, not in your hands. So.
Right.
Is that how that works? But they get the color on you.
That's what they say.
All the time.
We're off track.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your appearance is very important, and you guys can talk about it and elaborate a little bit more. But I mean, personally, I think that your first impression is everything. you can't really come back from that. Because I mean, how many times are you really going to get 20 chances to correct your first appearance?
20 times.
Yeah, right.
But you're not.
No,
I mean,
you
like
won't.
seriously, like you get one shot in
No,
life,
yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
need to be prepared in every aspect. So your appearance is very important. So if you look like a bum, everybody's going to treat you like a bum.
Yep. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow.
yeah.
One opportunity.
opportunity.
But and we're having a lot of fun with this. But the truth is, like, I mean, we all have been
Sure.
to those places where you see people and you're like, and I'm not trying to be judgmental in the sense that maybe they're a good person, but I'm just like you got to care more about yourself, because my thing is always like I see somebody that's like just sloppy and I'm like, you left the house like that. Like, you at some point you looked in the mirror and went, damn, I look good.
It's all right.
It's all right. That's what it really is.
It's
It's
all
like,
right.
that'll
Yep.
do.
It's
It'll
either
do.
that or they don't own a mirror.
Well, but and again, it's not a judgmental thing. It's just like care. Like, just care.
Well,
Like,
and
you should care
here's the
about it.
thing. Here's the thing. You know, look good, feel good, right?
Yep.
And not only do you create that impression on another person, but it also affects your ability to be confident, project yourself, and really get across your point, right? And I know everybody's seen that commercial where it's like the shirt's all wrinkled up and stuff, and like the guy's trying to like do it like a board meeting presentation, and like nobody's listening to him because they're looking at how bad his shirt is. The idea here with Men Reforged is, from an etiquette perspective, one of the things that men don't do, right? Like, fashion is kind of a girl thing, and, you know, guys aren't really into the fashion world and stuff like that. Dude, you better step your game up.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, like, that's one of the things that I think men need to learn how to do, is you need to learn how to dress.
Yep.
You need to learn how to put things together. You need to learn how things happen. We talked about this previously while we were building this program, was how can we add value to men? Well, first of all, we can teach men how to dress. We can teach men how to groom. We can teach men how to be physically pleasing when
That's
you
the
look
other
at
part
them.
of appearance is like, don't let yourself go.
Yeah,
Right.
be physically appealing. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Oh, it threw me off track. But
Well, it's one thing to not be in, like, I'm not Mr. Olympus, you know.
Yeah, I'm not.
But and we don't all have the same body types. And again, it's not that kind. It's, are you healthy? Are you trying to take care of yourself?
Right.
Or you are just a complete slob?
Right.
Like, because you're just not going to get opportunities in life if you're a complete slob, and you'll blame it on something else, but it's your fault.
Yep.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, you don't have to trust us. Go do some research. Go look at some of the most highly ranked individuals as far as CEOs, executives, and stuff like that, and just tell me how many of them are overweight versus in good shape. And I'm not saying if you got thyroid problems or whatever it is that you can't control, then that's something outside of your control. But if you can control it, you damn sure better be controlling that shit. And I'm gonna tell you, you don't, like Cameron said, you don't have to be Mr. Olympia. You don't have to be jacked and stuff like that. Just at least take care of yourself. But there's a reason why the military does things the way that they do. You know, for you know, there's a reason why teams have uniforms that are certain ways and stuff like that. One's intimidation, right? It's that presentation.
Right.
If you walked out on the field and you had a bunch of second-rate, you know, uniforms and stuff like that, the team that you're playing is probably not going to be as intimidated. But when you walk out there in some fresh gear and stuff like that, looking, you know, the way that you should, it's an instant upper hand.
Yep.
It's the same way with everything else. And you feel good. When you walk out and your stuff's put together and you've been working hard and all of this is where it's supposed to be, it's a different mentality.
And there's that guy in the back going, well, they shouldn't care what I look like. That's great.
Yep.
You keep thinking that, and we probably won't see it at the Men Reforged experience.
What was the Big Daddy thing? He was like, well, they said no, it was liar. He was like, the kid was talking to him, was like, well, my teacher said that beauty comes from the inside. And he was like, oh, it's just what fat people say to make themselves feel better. But I mean,
it might come from the inside, but it shows up on the outside.
Yeah.
So you need to handle your business.
Absolutely. And we're having some fun with this. But the reason that we injected this into the Men Reforged program is because it is so critical. It's so important, and so many people don't understand it, especially men. I go talk to a woman, she knows how to dress, and my wife has to help me sometimes. I'm just telling you, my wife would be like, you ain't putting those together, are you? I'm like, what's wrong with like plaid and mesh?
No, baby.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
Honey, I'm just getting the mail.
What's wrong with mesh and anything?
I'm just walking out and getting the mail, you know, and that's a joke that we've always had. I'm like, Cameron, what are you wearing? And we do that kind of stuff, like coordinating, like, hey, what level of dress are you going to be at this event and stuff? We just went to an event last weekend or the weekend before last.
We all text each
and,
other.
Yeah, we were like, hey, dude, what are you wearing? You know, and it wasn't wasn't a matter of like trying to be like, we all want to match or something like that. It was a matter of what kind of level of dress are we going to be, because none of us wanted to come in there underdressed, because we all wanted to be taken seriously.
Right.
When we walked in there, we were networking, we were meeting people, we were first impressions. So this is an area that needs to be perfected with men. A bunch of men walking around confident with their heads up, dressed nice. We got a better world.
Speaking of confident with your heads up,
I was going to say that goes into body language.
Yeah, I did that on purpose.
What is your body showing the world? Are you confident? Are you slunched over and just like, world is what, or are you looking up like, hey, what's up, man? It depends on what you the air of expectation, is how I like to look at it. It's confidence, and you are showing it whether you believe it inside or not. So in that case, if you don't have confidence, fake the shit out of that until you actually build confidence, because people know if you're not confident.
I'm really excited about this part as far as the etiquette side and the MEN Reforged program and what we're going to deliver here, because there's a lot of things I promise you don't know about your posture, about how your etiquette and the way that you act physically, your body language, how it affects your conversations. And just to give you an idea, having your arms crossed is automatically telling somebody you're not interested.
Yep.
And if you want to turn somebody off, it's a good way to do that. And the fact of the matter is, you may not know that, but you're sending signals to the other person, or you may be thinking it and sending physical signals and not even realize it. And the other person is reading those physical signals, and they might not even realize that they understand it, but they feel the feeling from it. And this is something that we're going to teach you. We're going to unpack that. And that kind of stuff right there is super important. We learned from a guy years ago, and we were actually all there, that was one of the most impactful, events that I had been to, just because he taught me so many things that I knew that I didn't know, if that makes sense. Like, I knew it. I could talk to somebody and be like, that dude's not feeling this and stuff. And I felt that, but I had no idea why. And we're going to unpack that. We're going to teach you about that. That's exciting.
And that part of it is huge, because it helps you connect with people at a deeper level. It helps you maybe accomplish some things, especially if you're like in a sales environment. But the other side of the body language is just carrying yourself in a way where you have some bounce about you, which we're going to talk about, coming up in the program here. But like, I look at my kids and I go, I teach them there's certain way. We're not going to walk around. We don't put our heads down. Like, it's just not what we do. We're not defeated, like or if we're upset about something, that's fine. You're allowed to be. I tell my kids all the time, you're allowed to be upset. You're allowed to not want this to happen, what's about to happen, but you're not going to show it physically. Like, it's not going to, your shoulders aren't going to come down, like Chris was saying. You're not going to drag your feet. You're not going to have your head down. You're not going to pout your lip. We're just not going to do it. Like, even when shit's hitting the fan, we're going to carry ourselves in a way that we got it under control. Like, I don't care what's going on inside. We're going to carry ourselves away like we got it under control, And I think that's important. So I think it's like what Josh said, there's a huge piece of that is creating a deeper connection, and there's a psychological side of that. There's also a piece of it that is just an intentional, I am a presence everywhere I go.
Well, and back to your subconscious mind, right?
Yeah.
Walk around with your shoulders pulled back and your head up, not looking at the ground and looking straight ahead, and tell me it doesn't affect you. I mean, whether no matter, just if that's all you did for a day, just intentionally walk around with your shoulders pulled back and your head up, and not ridiculously pulled up where everybody's looking at the bottom of your chin, or bowed out like you've got ILS. ILS. Don't do ILS, right? Imaginary lat syndrome, where it looks like you're carrying 2 suitcases, but you're 120 pounds soaking wet. Don't do that. That's ridiculous. You look like a fool.
Imaginary lat syndrome.
Yeah, it's called ILS. Yeah. It's a real thing. It's a disease.
It sounds like a meathead.
It is a meathead. It is. But to be honest with you, I mean, it does impact your subconscious mind. I mean, it's one of those things where you feel more confident just by doing that simple little thing. And we're going to teach you guys how to really become a master of your body language.
Even your walking, how you walk, and not being slow. Yeah, have some pace about you. Have some quickness about you. Because a man on a mission is quick and not slow. The other thing is personality ethics. So your personality takes a big hit here. You need to be making sure that, Josh, you actually mentioned this one. Why don't you lead with this one?
So there's two different things here, right? So there's a thing called character ethics, which is definitely rooted at your core. We'll talk about that a little bit later and why that's important and why we've infused that into the program. But personality ethics are another side of it, right? So you got two sets of ethics when it comes to that kind of stuff as far as communication, how you connect with other people. Personality ethics are like, do people like you?
Oh,
like,
okay.
are you likable? Are you a likable type of person? You know, like if you have character ethics, then you have strong principles, right? We'll talk about that, and that's deep rooted, and that's some stuff that you definitely need to develop. But personality ethics are when you walk into a room, do people like go, dang, dude, he's here, man. What's up, dude? What's up, Josh? How you doing, man? That's a personality ethic, because what you've learned is you know how to relate to people. Now, personality ethics are kind of a chameleon, right? If I go talk to Cameron, my personality ethics towards Cam are totally different than my personality ethics towards Wilson. Not totally different. I don't want to say totally different, but there is a different way to relate.
For sure.
Where I master that craft is being able to flex my personality ethics between the two of them. And it's not me being fake. It's me relating to their...
It's not manipulation. It's connectivity.
It's exactly
connecting with people. And it's quite the opposite of manipulation. It's me putting you ahead of me.
Right.
So it's me saying, I'm going to communicate in your style.
Right.
And not mine. Where if you're the person that's like, your ego's so big, you're like, the only way I'm going to talk or the only way I'm going to be is my personality. This is who I am.
Yep.
Take it or leave it.
Right.
Great. You're not going to have any tight circle or anything. Like, you're just going to be Mr. Dipshit on a post, and you're going to wonder how you got there.
Well, that goes back to what we talked about. One of the things that we're going to teach you is it's more important to be effective than it is to be right.
Yep.
Right.
And that's something that you'll learn in the MEN Reforged program, and that will be reinforced throughout the ethos that we'll go through and stuff. But that's something that you'll start to master and perfect.
One of the most
be friendly.
Yes, be friendly. Yeah,
that's me
for
Hey,
sure.
how you
Wilson's a
doing?
great example of this. I mean,
I just didn't know what that meant.
It's just the terminology.
Yeah, the terminology. I was like, what the hell?
Well, it's one of the most important things you can do is
Yeah.
learn to have a personality, number one.
Right.
Yeah, it's because there's a lot of people that are going to go through this MEN Reforged program. They're going to start it. They don't even have a personality. Like they're struggling to even just. I was chatting with somebody earlier today, and they said, "Hey, I just graduated college, and I'm having trouble developing a social network. What would you suggest?" You know what my response was? I was like, if you just left college and you don't have a social network, meaning like if you don't have a social circle, is what he's saying. I don't have a social circle. You need to work on you.
Right.
That was I was like, you got to work on you. You just left the place where you can create the most friends on earth.
Right.
And you didn't do it. Like, it's going to be uphill from here if you don't work on you. So you got to work on your personality. You got to work on controlling your actions, attitude, and attracting people to you and being likable. Like, just for God's sake, be likable.
Yeah, for sure. And
smile.
And a good way to put it is like personality ethics picks the chick up. Character ethics keeps the chick.
Yeah, stays married to her.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay,
I like that.
I got it now. I'm learning something too with you guys. All right.
Well, every once in a while.
Every now
Blind
and
squirrel
then.
finds a
Well, no,
nut every once in a while.
We wrote that down, and I'm like, okay, I like that, but the ethics part gets me. I'm like, what the hell?
He's not just an owner; he's a client.
I am a client in this one. This one, guys. Sorry, that was funny. I meant to ask that question.
That's why
before
we had
started
you
this.
host it so we
I
can
know.
talk.
Yeah,
This is great. I'm having a great time.
Oh,
I hope you
all?
are.
that's the personality.
Oh,
Yeah.
you Ed Shoe. You wait till
So-
we get this started. We start unpacking some of this stuff. You talk about having a good time, man.
I do this naturally. So when you have things that you do naturally, in a sense, I guess it's naturally. I just think of others before I put myself. So I guess that comes with this
Well,
particular
you don't
deal.
study it. You don't have to master
have
it
to, yeah.
necessarily because it's something that you're very good at naturally. I don't think you were born that way. I think the environment that you grew up with your
Fostered
mom
it.
and
Well,
stuff
yeah,
like you
yeah.
definitely fostered it for you. Whereas somebody that has to develop it, it's different. That goes back, and this is a little bit of a side shoot, but that goes back to like if you're in the gym and you see a guy that has this gigantic barrel chest and stuff like that, he's probably not the guy you need to ask about developing a chest, because more than likely his genetics are for a chest. Like he didn't necessarily have to develop that like somebody else did. The person that you can truly learn from is the guy that had to develop that in spite of his genetics, because then he could show you, some ways of actually developing it. He understands it better.
Yeah. Well, just don't be a jerk. That's what I get out of that.
Yeah, well, that works. That works too.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
For real. There's a time and
There's
place for those, but not just your normal
Not
go-to.
in etiquette, typically.
Yeah, correct. So the next one's respect, and this one I can talk about because I believe that everybody should earn respect first, and then also, express respect for those who are older than you, those are that have more experience than you. I think that respect is a double, both way street, because if you don't give respect, you're not going to get it. I've heard multiple times before, it's like, you need to respect me. And I'm like, no, you don't demand respect. You have to earn that. That's an earned privilege.
Yeah, and I think it depends on what level you're talking about, because I think one of the issues that we see in society a lot right now is there's not just a natural respect for your elders or for parents even, or teachers or whatever, and
authority in general.
Yeah.
Sad.
And it is sad, and I think a big portion of what we want to unpack with Men Reforged is, if that's not something you were taught, if that's not something that you're aware of right now, that's great. We need to fix that. But we also, if you're planning on procreating, we need to make sure that you're teaching that. Like there needs to be a change, and there needs to be a shift in that next generation where we understand that we do show respect to women. Why? Because they're freaking women. Yep. That's why. But why? That's it. That's all you need to know. Now, if somebody chooses to disrespect themselves towards you, then there may be a different conversation. But in general, when you're carrying yourself throughout your day and throughout your life, there should be a respect really to anybody. I mean, like we say to elders, to authority, to women, to all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if there's another dude the exact same, born on the same day as me in the same year, I'm going to show him respect until he has done something to lose that.
Right. Just
right?
A general
on the surface level
level
respect. Yeah. Now I'm not like trusting him with my kids or anything like that, but I'm going to hold a door open for him. And we're talking about etiquette. It's like hold the freaking door open. Mm-hmm. Like, say thank you. Like show respect in those kinds of ways.
Clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
If you're at a spot,
respect for your environment.
Even if it's not your mess and you see a mess or whatever, just pick up after yourself. Mm-hmm. Pick up after other people, just to show respect for your country. That'd be good.
If somebody drops their mask, pick it up and throw it in the garbage.
Yeah,
yeah, right. Well, and I think so. And you hit the nail on the head with that. And I think the reason that this is so important and why this is in there in the ethos is because if you're not a respectful person at your core, at a very, very, to everybody, and there's different levels of it, right? So what I think of respect at a low level is just being polite.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, man. Like, don't be a dick. Like, all you got to do is like hold the door for somebody. And then, there's another level of respect after that is an earned level of respect. My wife has earned my respect based off of things that she's done. She's about to give birth to another child. That's enough, for me. Yeah. And procreate, right? Just so that procreate. I know that. Yeah. Okay. Just so that
it's a big word.
Just so that. No, but I think
that's the guy from Mississippi throws out the big words.
I know, right? So, and not only that, I think we touched on that, so we don't need to unpack that as much, but you need to have respect for processes too, right? So, one of the things that I think that just kills me about people is like, it's always respect the process, respect the integrity of the game. We're going to talk about integrity in a later episode and stuff, that's also going to be part of the ethos and stuff, but there's got to be a certain level of respect. Like, if you ever heard people talking about respect the game, respect the process, there is a certain level of respect that's etiquette, that's just a respect to how things work and how they should work.
Right.
Respect for the flag. That's not a person. You have respect for that entity because of what it represents.
Right.
I think it all goes back to unselfishness.
Yes.
I have a respect because I'm putting all those things before myself.
Right.
Exactly.
That's ultimately what respect comes down to for me. Is I'm putting you before me. I'm putting the flag. I'm putting the country before me. Mm-hmm. I'm putting the team before me.
Yep.
I'm putting the process before me. When the opposite of respect is it's all about me.
Yep.
That's right. Yep.
And that's what you're going to learn at the Men Reforged. So come and join us.
That's part of what you're going to learn.
That's part of it. But there's going to be a lot more. And stay tuned because it's coming. And if you want to be a part of a movement that's going to change this world and be a part of a menly or a brotherhood, I guess you could call it that, a forged rehood. I don't know.
A forged rehood.
Yeah. If you want to be part of the forgery.
Yeah.
We're literally counterfeiting men over here.
Yeah, because we're going to get hammered.
Yeah.
In the forge.
Yeah.
In the forge.
We're knock the shit off of you and make you into a
polished
sword
is not one of the categories.
Yeah, be polished.
That is kind of part of etiquette, right? Appearance, right?
I'm just joshing with you. It's all good. But anyway, hey, join us. Let's take it seriously. You've been part of the movie.